What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and this is our live stream today for Thursday, the 23rd of January. We have the ECB press conference today. We have the press conference come up about 15 minutes. We jumped on early today. We jumped on about 45 minutes early in order to be live during the press conference. It looks like so far it's a non-event. Prices actually moved, I think, a total of maybe 5 pips since the ECB rate statement, which turned out to be a non-event. It looks like the market's going to be forward-looking, looking towards the PMI numbers that come out tomorrow overnight during the European session, and also not just on the for the euro, but also for the out of the UK for the British pound. We have big flash and services PMI numbers. We do have the press conference though in about 15 minutes, and we could see as Christine Lagarde answers questions and gives her perspective, we could see some further movements. But it looks like it's more of a technical story here. The dollar, which overnight stayed in a range, a very, 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 very tight range, is looking to find its way during New York and either test the upper portion of this resistance down here or the lower portion of this support down here. We'll see. We're going to be here together. But right now, we're just waiting for the ECB press conference to begin. Heath, everyone, what's going on? Good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're all well. Yeah, let's take a look at that right now. That the pound Canadian dollar, actually, not just the pound Canadian dollar. All right, we're gonna look at the pound Canadian dollar, but first, let's look at the U.S. dollar Canadian dollar. It's coming into this resistance area over here. All right, Mohammed, I'm just be aware of you have this resistance over here, and I don't know. It was kind of a bit of a lot of new information entered the market here yesterday when the Bank of Canada talked about looking at weaker growth ahead. Do we break above this resistance here and take a look at this heavier one over here, or not heavier, but this one that's in play up here? I'm not sure. Also, I want you to see the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen before we look at the pound, Australian dollar, pound, Canadian dollar. And this one also here on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, as we're sitting on resistance on the Canadian dollar, US dollar, we're also sitting on support over here. We have obviously a very strong Japanese yen. Rustin was dead on about the situation with the coronavirus becoming worse. What happens from here? I'm not sure. But notice that you have two Canadian dollar pairs sitting on pretty solid support. And then let's take a look at the pound Canadian dollar. This is still holding well above the broken resistance of yesterday. Now, we do have the PMI numbers tomorrow morning out of the UK. So what I'm thinking, because I'm also interested in this pair very much, is looking to play this off of those numbers. If those numbers come out well, then I'm looking to get long here, the pound, but I'm waiting for those numbers to come out. Martin, how you doing? Good evening. So the pound is, I mean, the euro is basically not doing anything yet. We have the press conference starting in just a few minutes. I'm going to send the link right now for anyone who wants to have that. ECB. All right, that's starting in about 10 minutes. And then I hope we see some movement. I hope we see some direction. I think it's more technical in nature at this point, unless we get a surprise out of there. So far, this support is holding down here, but I think the market is waiting and looking to see what comes out of Europe tomorrow. It's got to be. There was no surprises. The everything was as expected. Pretty much a non-event. I think the story of the day for me. So also just keep in mind, so far the day's range is pretty narrow. All right, is the press conference in 10 minutes going to kick off some price action? I hope so, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure of it. Um, I'm not sure of it. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think the story for me so far today is focusing in on the Canadian dollar, as it's in some pretty strong areas. Um, and I'm hoping that the U.S. dollar comes down and my Australian dollar, or U.S. dollar makes it past this resistance up above, and that we get some further. The yen stabilizes here because the yen has been obviously pretty strong. So this is interesting here too on the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. If the dollar dips back down, um, just trying to get a feel here. Kane, welcome. Good to see you in here. Glad you're here with us. Yeah, it's a tough week, but it's an important week for the euro. It's a very important week for the euro. Why? Let's take a big picture look at it. It's in play right now this morning. You know, when you say it's a tough week, we've been in a pretty tight range all week. Ever since breaking down over here off this resistance. This was Thursday. This was the stronger data out of the U.S. on Thursday morning, and since then it came down into this trend line, broke down hard, and has been consolidating along this support. What happens here is pretty important. What happens here is pretty, you get above the whole number over here, and I think we're pretty stable up until those PMIs come out overnight. But again, we break down below here, everybody, and we got some more room to fall. So right now we're just stabilizing on support. That's a good sign. Um, Price has only moved about 5 pips since the ECB rate statement. So let's wait for the press conference and see if we get some further resolution here on the dollar index. Um, again, there's not much why prices consolidating along support here, that we're consolidating along resistance. So we're still waiting for an edge, and it's just a game of patience until you get a breakout. There's definitely other opportunity elsewhere as this develops. I don't know. I don't have an expectation. So yesterday on the euro, as we came down we're going live right here, I think. As we came down yesterday, testing this support, I sold euros I had, and was buying dollars. You're wrong, right? So instead of trying to figure out what is going to happen or have any type of preconceived notion that what's going to happen, I'm buying off support over here, right? And I know I'm wrong right away. And if I get wrong, I'm going to wait and see if I can have the possibility to get short. How do I get short? If we come up and retest the broken support, it holds as resistance, and then price gets me into the trade short. I have a beautiful trade to the downside if that occurs. If I get stopped out and price just bleeds all the way down, I never get into the trade short, right? But over here, you've come into support, you buy supports, sell resistance. I don't know what's going to happen. Um, what do I think is going to happen? I think the Europe firms up here a little bit, going into the PMI tomorrow. I could extend this trend line over here. I don't think we get above this trend line today before we receive the PMIs. I think the market's looking to this. Maria, good morning. Yeah, let's take a look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. You said it broke an important resistance support, and it did. And you could see this over here. This was pretty big resistance going back for, all of December. And then when price came above it, boom, broke out, held the support, and then it now has broken as resistance. And it makes a lot of sense, being that the dollar is up at this resistance also, and you have the strong yen. How far this is going to go, or whether or not it's going to stabilize right here. Look where my mouse is right here. You see that small support, and here it was acting as resistance, and it's a level, and you're trading at it right now. It's not a heavy level, right? It's a light level, but that's where you are right now. I think it's more of, this is a pretty big. Let me just go ahead and include this link. Get a chance, take a look at this story. It seems like things might not be so contained. If that's the case, we'll see more, definitely more um, yen strength. But then you have other setups that are occurring. I think the pound Japanese yen. I'm going to get to the gold in 1 second. This looks good, coming back, testing this support right here where my mouse is at the upper top of this box right here. Price is coming into there. So this is dependent, I think, on the UK PMIs that are coming out overnight in the European session. CAD, Japanese yen. Ooh, it's tough. Is it breaking down over here, over this trend line? Or, are we coming into the support that's going to hold? US dollar, Canadian dollar, also at strong resistance, was yesterday a game changer for a little while in the Canadian dollar. Are we going to come up here, or is this going to hold? I don't know. Very important levels. The important levels are the ones that you want to key off of. And we have some pairs at important levels today. So that's interesting. We also have big fireworks happening tomorrow with the PMIs out of the UK and also the Europe. But gold, to me, continues just to consolidate. Gold continues to consolidate. This is what we said we expected for a week or more, for gold to look to consolidate. It's continuing to do that. It's been absolutely within a, what do you call it, 46, a $20 range of nowhere. So wait for the next clue. And right now we have no clue. Completely neutral, 100% neutral on gold. The only thing that's positive about gold, I mean, not the only thing, the thing that is positive about gold is that while you have seen pretty strong dollar strength from here to here, gold held up pretty well. Gold actually has a slight rise. It held up pretty well. If you start getting a weaker dollar, what will gold do? I don't know. Right now, I think it's best to stand aside on gold. Yeah, Martine. So how it works is, right, if during your a preferred trading session, you have support down here also, very important. You have this trend line over here. If price starts making higher highs either during New York or during London, it's a good trade to take. Now, here also, if it turns out the dollar falls off of this resistance over here, falls back down into this channel over here, and we're looking at coming back down and taking a look at this area over here, the Canadian dollar, as you up into this area over here, you have a decent chance of things reversing here. Although, yesterday you have to factor in what happened. The Bank of Canada came out and said they expect weaker growth. How much is that going to continue to affect the pair? It's up, about a cent and a half yesterday. I'm not sure, I'm not sure. But here also an important resistance. I'm gonna wait until after the press conference here, after I watch the price action on the euro a little bit, and then I'm gonna evaluate a little further on what trades I'm looking to take. But because of what's happening overnight, I think I am more prone to be taking trades that are on the pound or on the euro. And if you come over to the pound Canadian dollar, this is what I'm stalking. And if this is holding above this support over here, going into those PMI numbers, better if price is actually trading down, but holding the support, and then I could place my buy orders above the previous high. And if they're good numbers, hopefully I trigger long. and the trade holds the support, it looks good to the upside. Or if they're bad numbers, then my order just won't trigger. That's where I'm leaning right now towards, and obviously holding these Australian dollar trades since yesterday as well. All right, let's take a look here. Let me flip over to the euro real quick. Um, Here comes Christine. I don't have any sound on that. I don't have any audio on that. If you want to, the link's over there. If you want to go ahead and add that yourself. I'm going to add that into my headphones only because I want to get a feel for how she speaks. This is only her second press conference. Again, gold is not, I mean, euro's not gone anywhere yet since this morning. It's actually exactly where it was. Markets are forward looking. So the Bank of Canada yesterday also focused on the consumer and felt like the consumer was coming off. Tomorrow's retail sales out of Canada, that's an important data point. And then I think it's a couple of weeks away until the next important consumer data point for the Canadian dollar. So that's also, as the Canadian dollar's at these critical points, at these heavy resistance, the tomorrow's data out of Canada is going to be important. So playing it off that data release makes more sense than getting into any trade on the Canadian dollar beforehand, except if you were to receive positive PMI numbers out of the UK. Then you were playing the pound Canadian dollar. Tipping point. What's going on? Good to see you. This is an important resistance right here for the euro. Um, Again, my base case is we get above it today. I don't know. I don't think we get above this line over here before we receive the PMI numbers. If we do, fantastic. Now remember, New York for 2 days in a row has come in and bought dollars. Are they going to flip flop today? Good trade off the support. Did that yesterday over here. I sold my euros, took profits on the euros. Was building up longs over here. Euro Canadian dollar right now also might be a good trade. Mima, good morning. We're on early this morning. The link for the press conference is in the chat. If anyone wants to scroll up, go ahead and listen to Christine. Tipping point, hold on. Wait a second. Wait a second. Give her time. You got the support down here. You have to break this support. You got to get below 1.1064 for this support to be broken over here on the euro. If you're into a long position here, buddy, you're coming off of this support over here. Everything looks good. Now, I don't know that we get above this resistance over here, right above this trend line over here, and where my mouse is horizontally today, because the market's looking at these PMIs tomorrow on the euro. But unless you break down here, you start breaking down here, then that doesn't look good. But right now, this is support. All right, she's closing up remarks here, and then she's going to be going into the question and answer. So since the rate announcement, actually, price is 1 pip below where the rate announcement began. It has had come up as far as 20 pips. So there has not been a reaction whatsoever yet. Right now, I'm focused here, obviously, on the ECB press conference. We still have some time here before we get started for our regular trading session. Jamsa, great. How you doing today? Yeah, we jumped on about a half hour earlier than we are right now, 45 minutes earlier. So far, the ECB has been a non-event. The question and answer is just coming up right now. There's a link right here in the chat. If you scroll up, here you go. Here's the press conference link. We get started with our live session as soon as this is over, probably around the normal time. Yeah, and technically, I mean, not much yet. I'm trading this on the 8 hour. Let me fall back down to the 8 hour. So off of this support coming now into this local resistance up here. You see where my mouse is priced during Asia, and London is butted head against it, but looks pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with it. I obviously want to watch during the session, see if we get a breakout above here. That would be excellent. This is a nice area to look to target. We'll get deep into the charts in a little bit. Chris, you got wrecked. What's going on? Gonna watch New York today again, 2 days in a row. They've come in and started buying dollars. Let's see if they dump them. Same here. I'm watching her to try to get a feel from her. I'm not too familiar with how she approaches these type of things. This is only her second press conference. I never watched her when she was with the IMF. Right now, they're talking about trade. This is the biggest worry for the euro right now. It's the trade with the United States. Martin, I see that the Australian dollar, US dollar has come back up into this area of resistance over here. You could see it right over there. That's a place for me to move price stop loss to break even. Why we're holding above here though, looks really good to me. I'm not selling up here. I'm not taking profits up here. But as far as selling over here, well, if you're selling off resistance, I look for strong support and resistance. So for me, like this is a resistance up here that I would consider selling off of. This one over here is just it's a resistance where you look to manage your open position, but for me, it's not something that I would key off of. Um, but it's a resistance. I'm long here off of this support. So you know, I like that you see the resistance over here. You're keying off of it, but I look for strong support and strong resistance to take my moves off of. Yeah, I mean, if New York comes in again and they looking really to buy dollars again, then of course we could see some follow through there. But we have to see after 2 days in a row of them doing that. Let's see what they do today. MHB, how's it going? Yeah, well, he was a banker. She's more of a politician. So She's a pro. Mark, good morning. Good afternoon. Waiting for the press conference to wrap up before we start taking a look and digging into the charts, see what's going on today. I mean, I think before the PMIs, we're somewhere in there. Before the PMIs overnight out of the EU. You have to be ready in case we do break down, though. I'm ready in case we do break down, though.
Was there a discussion as to whether it was close to balance, that it was tilted to the downside, but less skewed than it was? We always have those discussions, but I think
Which way you got wrecked? I'm not sure personally. I'm watching the lower highs and I'm watching the higher lows. That spike, I'm not really counting yet. That could be a false move or it could be the first indication. Or fakey. Fake the breakdown, come back up. Definitely. So watching New York like hawks, and then if we don't get that, we're at a critical point here. We're gonna get that break. Tomorrow's a big day. All of these events are big events tomorrow. Canadian dollar, Bank of Canada is focused on the consumer. Got retail sales tomorrow. Obviously, the pound is so sensitive right now to market data, PMI numbers, and then the euro as it's ready to explode one way or the other. This meeting could almost bore you to death. Maybe that's the point. I'm focused in personally on the pound Canadian dollar. Some important data for both coming tomorrow. So when I'm looking at here at the pound Swiss franc, I've noticed that you have this important resistance level over here. Price trading below it right now. Listen, the pound is super sensitive to market data right now, as we saw earlier in the week. And tomorrow you have PMI numbers out of the pound. This is what the pound is going to react off of. This is coming up in, not too long from now, during the European session, and I think you got to focus in on over here. I think taking a position on the pound before these arrive is not the way to go. Yeah, it's all time frame. If you're talking about putting your stops up at 1.13, then you're trading really, really, really small positions, obviously, of resistance up there. So yeah, yesterday I was selling into that, moving to the support, buying euros. You flip flop. I mean, not flip flop. Exit if you get below this support over here. Below support here, I think we have a very solid chance of extending down further. I think that means we're breaking out on the dollar. Price right now again is exactly where it was 1 hour ago at the moment of the rate decision, and so far through the press conference. So far, that's a non-event. What's New York going to do? New York has come in 2 days in a row and has bought dollars versus and sold euros. Um, do they go ahead and flip flop today and sell that hard before the PMI? I'm not sure. Are we going to break out above this resistance here again before the PMI numbers? I'm not sure. Oh, there you go, Chris. The monthly chart for sure. You're looking at the right area. I'm gonna let me focus down here on the 3-day. Take a look at it with you. So you're talking about stops over here at 1.13, right? Which is above the resistance I have here. So 100%, you're wrong. You're wrong if that happens up there. Now, if that's your stop with a 200 pips, what are you looking at for? Are you looking to go ahead and test these lows down here? Is that ultimately what you're looking for, or do you have a different preference? I think they got, if we break the support over here, I think we come down and test this level. That's about as far as I could get into the future right now. Obviously, if we broke this support here, then we're coming down and testing these lows. That's a bigger perspective time frame. And you know what? Holding the swamp here with a stop up here is pretty attractive. But Chris, I'm not surprised at all if this support holds and we come over here and test this resistance at 0.116. I would be completely neutral and not know what happens from there. Yep. Great. +1 on this. That's where we're at right now. We need to wait for confirmation in this moment. Look where we're at. We're in this tight range. We have a lot of pairs at some pretty nice levels and resistances, and we're going to take a look at them in just a little bit after this press conference ends. I'm just looking and waiting and ready in case there's any surprises. Obviously, a big move is coming, right? On the euro US dollar. Look at this consolidation. A big move's coming. It could go either way. We don't know. We're at support. You know what we eat in New York for breakfast, Lucia? You know in New York what we eat for breakfast? Chinese food and pizza. Yeah. Francesquita, I love you. Alessandra, te amo. Donna, have the best day ever. Have fun and be crazy, seeds. I need to go to work. Want a kiss? I went to kiss all the kids. I see that price is exactly where it was the whole time. This is great. Ah, TJ. Coming down into a really pretty important support level down here on oil. This was the Iran attack. Oh, those. DJ went short over here. Took profits here. He took profits over here. He went long over here, and then he got short over here. Great trading. Euro Swiss franc we wanted to look at. I think we're back down towards the bottom of this channel over here. This is a place to look to take profits. Again, we were over here. We said, okay, take profits, look for price to touch the resistance. It was impossible to get short here into this resistance because it was such a quick spike into that resistance that I don't think anyone was able to go ahead and get short over here. And now you're back down, breaking to new lows over here, but coming back towards this channel, the bottom of this channel over here. So getting short over here is a little dangerous. Unless, of course, if you see the euro break down, if you see the euro break down the support, then it could be much further to go on the euro Swiss franc. But you're at support on both. You're at support on the euro US dollar, and you're down testing this trend line support down here. So do you go long over there? I don't pick bottoms ever, or sell tops. I would wait this out, and I'd wait to see what happens if you get back towards this trend line over here. Look to lean off that, or look to lean off this resistance over here. But over here, this is, I would say, normally an area to take profits, but it was too hard to get into the trade. So I don't think anyone's holding it short. US dollar, Swiss franc. I'm going to extend this. This is the area of support over here. Price is definitely range bound in this area right now. If the dollar breaks out, and if US dollar at that point is trading above this resistance over here, then this could be definitely a bottom, and that would be a nice area to really get long the US dollar Swiss franc on a breakout of the dollar. The yen is very strong right now. The yen is very strong. We have a little bit of escalation in the coronavirus. This is if you want to go ahead and read up on it. So although I took along on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and US dollar yesterday, the yen is strong. And if things continue to escalate, it's going to continue to strengthen. Here comes the dollar. What's up, baby? I'm working. What's up? I'm working. Are you happy you get to stay home today? Awesome. Let me zoom in here. It's hard to get a look at where that is. I'm going to keep mine up just up here, the resistance up here. It's hard for me to get a clear look on there. Right now, you have such strong Japanese yen strength over the last couple of days. That's reflected here, but I'm not. I can't give any type of input on this trade right now. I don't know. Three days in a row. The euro is now testing this support down over here. You have to watch for a big move over here. Gold is pretty neutral. Right now, for example, you have a very strong dollar over the last 1 hour, 30 minutes, and gold is rising on that. So that's a good sign for gold. But look how neutral it is ever since this big run up, and then the little volatility bringing back down, and now it's searching, and that's why it's neutral. So gold is consolidating nicely, but neutral, and you got to wait one way or the other to see where the next move comes and where she breaks. Australian dollar was strong last night on positive employment news. So definitely there's strength in the Australian dollar today. This is resistance. She's still trading below. Australian dollar Swiss franc is this is picking a bottom if you're looking to go ahead and trade that. All right. We're trading below the resistance over here, the resistance here, and in a strong downtrend. I mean, so talking this out of my head over here as we come down toward this important level over here, is the dollar going to break out today ahead of the PMIs, or is this a good area to put in a little bit of a fake break? I don't know. This is where it really gets interesting. Yeah, picking bottoms and selling tops is a dangerous way to live. It's a tough way to live. Look at the dollar here. Mark, all I did was get to move my stop to break even on there as we came in and tested this resistance up there, and I'm still holding her. So I hope she falls into my favor. Depends. Dollar is testing a breakout right now, um, but I'm looking for up here. I'm looking at this area for a take profit. Right now, it's just a free trade. The euro Australian dollar. I'm assuming right now the Australian dollar is gaining on it, with the strong employment numbers and the strength in the Australian dollar. Euro down at support right now. If the euro breaks down over here, of course, this looks beautiful. But I can't. I'm going to be surprised if the euro breaks down over here with the PMI numbers coming up in the next session. for sure it could happen. That's why I'm glued to the screen and watching over here. We could get the breakout on the dollar today, but buy is you have the Australian dollar strength right now and euro weakness, but euro's at a pretty important level. Um, my fear here on this trade right now, this is where you're looking to take a short, because I mean, this is where you look to get short, right? Or somewhere around here, at least, is that right here, the euro off of this support winds up holding and bouncing. I mean, it wouldn't be real. I wouldn't be surprised if the euro did hold here and bounce 20, 30 pips after the press conference. And if that does, this trade's going to go automatically against you. I don't know if it's the best entry is all. So look at this though, if you will, with me, because this is where I'm looking. You can see we took out, spiked. I'm sorry, it's a bad. This resistance right here, and now this support down here, right? Not uncommon on a central bank day. Um, take out both sides. The area on Bitcoin I'm looking for next. Actually, I took a piece this morning. Price hasn't moved since I took the trade. Actually, let me just drop down. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little lower. Right about here. I think this is the next area the market's got to look for. Obviously, this support over here. Look, if this holds, if you do get into this support over here, I was looking at. You can see over here. You can see you have a small support, and if the market's strong, this is a strong move. And if the market's strong, this is going to hold right here. But this is the area to look for, right? If price comes into here and holds, coming off of it, that's a great entry. That's a great entry to look for. Yes, we're still gonna, guys and girls, everybody, we're still gonna obviously get to our full session, taking a look at all the pairs across the board. Interesting time with definitely check out the Canadian dollar, but you have big data point for the Canadian dollar tomorrow. Central bank is concerned about the consumer and tomorrow's retail sales. but you have the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Let me pull back up for a second with you. Trading in this important area. You got this trend line and this horizontal support over here. Nice area to possibly lean into. You have a strong Japanese yen with what's going on with the coronavirus. You also have the US dollar, Canadian dollar in towards this resistance over here. I can't take a trade here though until this gets out of the way. I would not think of it, because if this comes in weak, if that come in weak, this we're trading up into this resistance for sure. And then that looks now like the better opportunity with yesterday's new information. Where right now the US equity market is opening. Let's see what type of push we get, which way. All right, here comes the conclusion of the ECB press conference. Critical juncture over here. Finally have the market string down a little bit. Let's watch what they do. We're in, open. Oh, there you go. That's just a 2-hour time frame. Sorry. Opening down and then trading up. Pretty characteristic of what's going on. So let's see what the markets do today. Oof. All right, so let's take a look around. I'm still kind of glued right here to the euro and the dollar as they're at these important areas. Why I would be surprised if she broke down here before the PMIs overnight. Definitely always looking for the unexpected to happen in the markets and need to be ready to react. Let's take a look around. Australian dollar is definitely strong off of the strong employment data last night, and holding well. She's got a lot of work to do. We're still seeing that strong dollar and specifically that strong yen. That strong yen. Rustin was all over that, and it's definitely continues to materialize. Well, look, the things that are interesting to me today, I'm obviously watching the Canadian dollar as it's into this resistance area here. Tomorrow, again, this is the data point that you can't trade this technically with this high impact news event. So my attention is not there right now. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen also had a very important and interesting level. Um, so I think on both those pairs, I have to stand aside. Uh, Coming into this support over here and coming into this resistance over here, definitely they'll also look interesting. If we get a surprise tomorrow and these numbers come in, better than expected, then leaning definitely long Canadian dollar is going to make a lot of sense. I like the Canadian dollar, the British pound Canadian dollar is also interesting going into tomorrow. Right now, it's holding above this broken resistance as support. But again, both those pairs have really important data. And after this huge move yesterday, we're going to see a huge move tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of volatility on that pair, depending on which of these come in positive for which pair. So that pair, we could expect some fireworks tomorrow. Careful of getting whiplashed. Um, of course, there's a big difference. I think there's about 4 or 5 hour difference. There's a 4 hour difference between the pound PMI numbers coming out and then the Canadian dollar retail sales. So if you get good numbers out of the UK, you could expect some follow through initially. What else is on my radar? Euro breaking down to new lows. Testing the low right here, right now. Wow. Snowy, the best look I could give you about the pound US dollar is that you have some pretty important data coming out tomorrow. Um, you have you have a pretty strong dollar this morning, pound holding up pretty well, right? Over here, this big candle, that was because of some prize data, good solid data out of the UK, which reduced the chances of a rate cut. And now tomorrow you have more data, important data, manufacturing and services, PMI numbers. So obviously, if the pound is so sensitive to data, uh, depending on what these numbers come in, that's how the trade is going to be affected. So if you're looking to trade the pound, you got to look for these numbers. The pound right now is uber sensitive to data. I'm watching the charts like a hawk here. So the developments in the coronavirus, China is now quarantined 3 cities. Uh, the city that they first quarantined, where the virus started, is 17 million people, bigger than any U.S. City. Try quarantining that, and the virus has now since spread. An Indian nurse in Saudi Arabia, in a hospital in Saudi Arabia, has caught the virus. Um, this could definitely be a reason why that you see in the U.S. equities selling off hard today. Probably a buying opportunity. So Bitcoin has some very light support over here, kind of where it's trading at right now. This is the area to look for. All right, this is the area to look. Two areas to look for. Leaning into this support over here. If this support holds and price resumes, fantastic entry for Bitcoin. Additionally, if we hold over here, wait it out, wait and look to get back above this resistance over here now. Back above this resistance, Bitcoin looks good again, trying to test this multi-week high all the way up here. Risk off. Rustin was dead on about the Japanese yen and the situation with the virus getting worse before it gets better. 100%. I don't think he's here right now, but good job. Definitely. Let's take a look at gold. I mean, before we get down to the 1 hour, let me just first give a little bit of a bigger overview. And, you know, we started early in the week neutral on gold, expecting it to trade sideways, which it has. Slightly up on a strong dollar. Good sign over here. You see this trend line over here on gold? We're coming right into it right now. Right? Coming into it right now. Get above there. There's a chance we break out to the upside and look at least first around 1580. I think that's the number you just mentioned, and possibly towards the top of this trend line over here. So drop it down to the 1 hour. If your entry was 1552, hey, it's a good entry. What do you are you taking profits now up into this resistance, or are you looking to hold to see if it breaks? What I would be doing, you're the one who got into that good trade with a nice entry, so you know better than me. But what I would be doing is looking to see how price reacts. Normally, if it breaks through, and if the dollar comes off here, then there's a better chance that gold is, and the dollar is wicking a little bit here. If the dollar does continue to trade down, then there's a good chance that gold could break through this light resistance over here. And if it does, then yeah, you're looking definitely much higher. But if price starts reversing, if you're trading the 1 hour and then you see the 1 hour time frame start making lower lows than the previous price bar, that might be your signal that this is holding over here and to get out. Oof. Singapore, and I think most of Asia has closed off the airports to Chinese travelers. But so the virus started about a month ago, and they're only trying to quarantine it now. Crude is sinking in this risk off environment. Yeah, a ton, really important support. It's at right now. If you step back, you could see it a lot clearer, and you could see this area over here. Here it was support. You know, a lot going on over here as support. Here is pretty good resistance, and then again twice as support. There you are now, breaking below here. Look out! This move continues. This is going to affect China's GDP for sure. This is going to affect China's GDP, which is already suffering. This is definitely not going to help the world, the global economy, which is already in pretty much a precarious situation. It's going to be a big, big, big night. It's as if all week has been building towards the next 24 hours. Oh, that's when you see something strong, the Japanese yen is very strong. So if you're seeing the New Zealand dollar strong against it in this risk off type environment, that's a pretty good sign. Um, Look, if I move my mouse over here, I could see you have some pretty light support over here that prices reacted off of. But more importantly, this resistance is in play. Let me go ahead and change that broken support into resistance, right? So for me personally, in this moment, to think about getting long the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, I want to first get above this resistance over here. Right now, price is being rejected by it. We have the strong Japanese yen. All right, above this resistance, that looks pretty good. Alternatively, let's see how long this strong yen environment lasts, this risk off environment. If we get another look down here at the support, then that also becomes an interesting place to look for longs. But right now, um, really important to notice when a currency is acting strong against a strong currency. You also see that happening, I believe, on the Australian dollar, relatively still holding up pretty well, right? So similar situation, another down towards this support that looks like a much stronger, better look in this pretty strong risk off environment. But the New Zealand dollar does look better now. Yep, Hanero, 100%. Three new cases in Scotland as well. Interesting to note that silver is down on the day when precious metals are making the moves, right? Silver leads. This is definitely the bid into gold is definitely just on risk aversion. Ultra, good morning. Seven, 7, 5. Chris, we got the same. That's exactly where I have my support, right where you're looking. So pound Australian dollar. Listen, we had a better than expected numbers out of Australia last night. Pound coming in. You see down where those wicks are down on the 8 hour. That's definitely support. Look at my mouse horizontally. Look at the far left of the chart. You have this resistance. It's now support, but you have tomorrow. the pound right now is ultra sensitive to data, and you have big data manufacturing and services PMI overnight in the EU session. For sure, the pound is going to key off of that. It completely depends on how those numbers come in, what the next move here on any pound related pair, including this pair right now. And also just it's also surprising that Netflix is holding up with the market selling off. So pretty important pattern here on Netflix. Pretty important pattern. Wait for the trend line break. Tesla is super surprising in this market to be holding up, and the parabolic move just continues. So again, I'm not saying the markets are going to turn green here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I would not be surprised if they did, because that's just we're in definitely just a euphoric bull move of the market right now. And when that happens, you will see down days turn green. But Tesla, look at it. I mean, $100 billion car company, most expensive in the US. Australian dollar hanging in there versus the dollar. We haven't even looked at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar today, or I believe yesterday. I was looking at a long-term bottom. Yep, you're right near a support. Looks like that's hard to trade. On the Australian New Zealand dollar, I mean, to make it easy on myself, I'm looking for us to clear above this resistance up here. Once and if we get above there, I think we might have put in a bottom on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. But right now, we've been sideways, which is tough to trade. And are we breaking down here now? The New Zealand dollar, as someone else just mentioned, against the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, it's acting strong now. After a period of watching, well, it's stabilized really well in this area, and it looks good now. So thank you all of you for bringing the attention towards the New Zealand dollar, especially with the Australian dollar weak overnight, and look at the New Zealand dollar acting strong against it. That's a telltale sign. Um, Thank you for that. Let's also look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Good call. Hold in the support well. Strong dollar, and look at the New Zealand dollar. Look how it's acting. It's a good buy down here, huh? It's a very good buy down here. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. You have the support down here. A stop here, you just know you're wrong. I think we have some ways to go. I don't know if this is the best resistance level, or it should be down here more. I think we definitely need to look down here first. Risk reward going into there is solid. Looks like a good trade. Absolutely. Absolutely, Chris. I want to look compare this to the Australian dollar, US dollar. Very interesting. Very interesting. I like the puzzle, right? Seeing that, strong Australian dollar employment numbers, see price really react, and then since the New Zealand dollar is strong versus the Australian dollar, and uh, with a strong dollar, New Zealand dollar is looking healthy coming off this support area as well. It's a total contrary story to what we're seeing in the markets with the complete, uh, strong Japanese yen, weak oil. You're seeing really risk off environment, but yet you're seeing the New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar strengthening up over here. So, are we coming close to a turn? Maybe. It's interesting. Dollar taking a look again towards the highs of the day. DJ, you've been on fire. Looks like they're trying to fight it off. Watch the equities. Gold at crude at support. Looks like New Zealand dollar. The New Zealand dollar has a little bit of an edge. Love it. Appreciate it. That's what we're here for. Everyone should have the attitude that they're always looking to better themselves. They're always looking to learn. They are pushing themselves every day to be better. Do not get complacent. As a trader, if you start getting complacent, you're going to get eaten alive. Always be looking to learn from everyone and in every situation. Look to push yourself and improve on your skill set every day. You have to come in sharp. Right into that trend line so far. Again, watch gold making lower lows there off of that, off of this resistance. If we get above this resistance here on the dollar, we're going to see some big moves, specifically on the euro. Next support is all the way down here. A lot of likes this morning. I appreciate that, everyone. Definitely just wanting to just say thank you. Euro pushing, dollar break into the highs of the day, into this resistance pocket right up here. So good. The first thing I recommend is honestly just definitely spend some time in here with us, but also watch some of the replays. If you have if I was in your situation where I was like, listen, I'm looking for some guidance. I really want to put this together. I really need just some help in understanding what to do and how to do it. I would go ahead and watch whether it's this thumbnail here, trading Forex for profit, or anything with the Learn Forex, watching uh, some of these videos, 3 or 4 of these videos, and you're going to be able to come in here tomorrow and each and every other day with a solid understanding of what needs to be done. Euro breaking down here. Watch the dollar. Again, it's on the daily time frame. That's what's so tough. It's on the daily time frame. You need to see the close below the support on the daily time frame. If what I'm watching personally, if we get above this resistance here intraday, uh, you know, you got to be really cautious here. Great to have you in here. I appreciate that so much. Dollar pushing hard here. Again, the surprise is it's before such important data. Keying off the ECB. Looks like we're breaking down below the support. I think gold is going up on the risk aversion of the of the virus spreading worldwide. That's also why we're seeing the strong Japanese yen strength. That's also why we're seeing the weak oil. Um, I see that gold is rising and silver is not leading the way. That gives me a sign that that's also risk aversion. That's not a precious metal move. And this is at resistance right now. This is at support. So we're in a precarious area. Dollar is booming. Gold is not always tied to the dollar, and in the coming environment in the next year or two ahead, as the dollar could continue to get to strength. Remember, we were looking at this as being a bull flag, looking to break up. Would not be surprised, obviously, to test all the way up here or even up here longer term. But gold could rise during all of that because gold right now is focusing on all of the central banks kind of losing control, the enormous deficits being run up in the United States and debt. So people have called for an environment where gold and the US dollar would rise together. We've been seeing that this past 6 months. Beautiful. Nice intraday trade. Pound looks like it's coming back down, leaning into some support down here. US equities have been open 1 hour now and down on the day, but off their lows, off their pre-market lows. So stay blessed. The whole idea here is just kind of hang out and watch for however long it takes, whether it's a few sessions or a few weeks of sessions, until you're able to see and spot exactly what you should be looking to trade, why, and you'll know how long. Uh, we want to get you to be able to recognize and do that yourself. Don't take tips from people like that. That's not a good idea. Oof. Looks like price is pretty steady over here. Below the resistance. Yeah. How's it going? Welcome. Dollar testing the highs of the day up here and getting close to this resistance up here. Super important level. 3 days in a row, New York came in buying dollars. Here we are. Yeah, MHB, that makes sense. But watch what here. If we break above here, definitely watch. Still a solid 90 minutes of good trading left in the session. A lot could happen. Also, of course, be aware of the PMI numbers out of Europe overnight. I hope you're all okay with the flow. Obviously there are times that I talk for 3 hours nonstop. It's not always the case. Trying to see who called that might be the bottom on the euro US dollar. Is that you, MHP? Let's look at definitely pound Japanese yen. And let me take a step back real quick. So pound keyed off of this data, came into this resistance, and so far selling off. I see. If you go from the closes here and you extend the trend line, we're on it right now. We're on this trend line. We're down into the support right over here. Hold on. Let me look. Right where the horizontal line is my mouse, we came down into the support right here. A lot of momentum to the downside over the last since Asia, as we've seen that yen bid come in. But looking at a place coming into support over here, looks like a good opportunity to see if you start seeing price reversed to nibble at some longs over here. Absolutely, I think so. And then you also have, obviously, depending on short time frame minded you are, you have big numbers that are important to the pound because the pound is very data sensitive right now. So you have fireworks going on overnight in Europe. You hold here though, and you start reversing off of this support you're on right now. Looks like a good place to take a bite going long. Big time, Martin. Big time. Big, 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 big resistance area though. Big and important resistance area. Yeah, so I think I want to take a look at crude real quick to see if that's where DJ's attention was taken to. Okay, that's still holding. Gold is up today. And again, this is not a precious metal move. This is because silver's down on the day. It's gold that's up. Gold is up on the day because of the risk aversion, because of what's happening in China and the coronavirus spreading. That's why you have the strong Japanese yen as well. And be aware, because we're going to see it and we've been seeing it. There are times when the dollar could be strong, yet gold will be stronger than the dollar. And we're entering a longer term phase where you're going to see that happening a lot. But today is on risk aversion. Exactly because of the virus out of China that you're seeing that risk aversion, and gold is strong today with the strong dollar. Rustin, great call. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before about the risk aversion and getting and holding Japanese yen. You expecting things to get worse before they got better? Fantastic, fantastic call. Be interesting to see as crude is down near this critical support. Again, this is also because of the risk aversion that you're seeing this move on crude as well. Oh, looks like it's been a while since we've looked at this pair. I think for me, I see that we're dead between this support down here. It's been a while since we've looked at the pound New Zealand dollar and this resistance up here. The area of resistance. You got to get above here. Maybe that happens tonight if we get some solid PMI numbers out of the pound. But geez, you're playing two relatively strong currencies against each other, and that's why you've been pretty flat. Yeah, you got to if you break above this resistance here, then you look really strong to the upside. But you get some weak PMI numbers today, overnight in the London session. For sure, the pound is going to sell off on that because then they're going to say, okay, now there's a chance of a rate cut. So buying closer off this support down here, if you get that opportunity, makes more sense. Right now, you're in no man's land. DXY continues to push towards the high of the day. Let's take a look at that. New Zealand dollar rejected resistance. Oh yeah. You're looking at the resistance up here. Coming back down, you have support right below. Again, I think this is a dollar story. The dollar's at that critical juncture. If this resistance holds here, I think the New Zealand dollar has a strong chance at holding this support over here. Euro looks very bearish. Looks like GU bounced right off of the 20. Oh, I got below it. 1 pip below, 2 pips below. MHB, nice call and nice trading. There was some oil numbers at the top of the hour, I believe. Euro pushing the lows of the day again. That's right. That's right. You do your homework and it pays off 100%. You got to put the work in. So it's hard for me to get a read on the US dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take a look at it. You have two beasts battling right now. US dollar has been strong, but that risk aversion into the yen has been taking precedence. And you're into some support right now over here. Light support, but you're into support. It's this range over here. All right. You come back above it over here. And you're very from my perspective and where I sit, I'm very neutral. I have this strong resistance and this strong support and price trading right in the middle. I see this light support we're sitting on right now that we broke down below and has since have recovered against. I don't see an edge here. Very difficult to trade when price is, it's dead between two areas. Boom, catching a bid over here off that support. Well, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen was looking interesting earlier today. Let's take a look at it. The reason why I find it interesting is we're coming into the support over here. I just want to peep in over at the US dollar, Canadian dollar before we get into the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. And she's holding strong dollar today, very, very strong dollar today, Canadian dollar holding this resistance. Important to remember, this is a super important news event for the Canadian dollar tomorrow because the central bank is concerned about the consumer, and this is retail sales. So you're trading against resistance. If that's a bad number, we're coming into this resistance for sure. Same thing here in the Canadian Japanese yen. If it's a bad number, we're trading down here. I'm sure that looks like a fantastic long-term buying opportunity. And right now, this is interesting. If we reverse over here, do I see a descending triangle? Ascending triangle? I think I'm more focused on that channel that I have here. Let's take a look. I'm more focused in here on this channel. We've had some peaks down below. Let's see where we close. Let's see after tomorrow's news release where we are, if we get back into this channel or not. You could push a line right here, a trend line. You can do it right now like this. That's going to be pretty important going forward. This will act as resistance. But no, I don't, I'm focused in here, this support right now, this channel, and this support down here. In Canadian dollars, that's some important, the Canadian dollar is at some important levels right now. Euro breaking to the lows of the day. Dollar getting up there. MHB, that's appreciate you. That's what we're here for. It's entirely what we're here for. Last I looked at gold, it had run into that resistance, is not trading back at it. You got this resistance right here. You haven't made lower lows yet on the 1 hour, which is the time frame you've been looking at. If you come into this resistance, you start making lower lows, just be careful. Australian dollar, US dollar not trading down on the day. US dollar is a beast at the moment, still above the support area. Again, you're looking at this important area. Euro's broken through. Euro's broken through its support. What does the New Zealand dollar look like here? Is it climbing on the Australian dollar still? Yeah, Chris, because I think that's going to be, again, any pound pair is going to be dependent on what happens overnight. We see a big move on the pound, I believe. I don't want a public Telegram group that I have to constantly monitor, because how I'll tell it, the people that these type of things attract. We had one for the first time jump in here yesterday, and that's something that requires just moderation all day. Um, this is an important time of the day to be active in the markets. It sets up the rest of the day. There's no need to keep that going 24 hours a day. I got 5 kids and a wife. They need my attention as well. Um, I think it's important, as a trader, in order to really integrate this in your life for long-term success, is learn to trade in a way that does not glue you to the screen all the time, which is going to afford you the opportunity to profit a lot more from it. I have yeah, you could just too many people, and like when you have a really good solid core group like we do here right now, it's awesome. When you start getting too many people involved and too many people talk, it's no fun anymore because it doesn't serve a purpose that's beneficial. I want to I want to keep and create something that is really just a really good tool for me. And what we got going on here is exactly that right now. So I just want to keep nurturing and developing that. Here, this, oh my goodness, we haven't even looked at this. I'm watching the DXY print 97.80. You're at the lows of the day. This is falling into some support now. Look at this waterfall out of the break of the channel. Rusty, in the comment, the perspective, the insight of the week was definitely when you suggested everyone be looking at continued yen strength as the situation with the virus continues. MHB yen is a safe haven asset. It is the biggest safe haven asset. Right now, the virus is, primarily affecting China. They had to close off 3 cities. This is really going to affect their GDP, which was already being revised down and down. So the growth story in China is being hurt. That obviously affects the entire global economy. And because of that, you're seeing the bid into the Japanese yen. You're seeing gold bid higher. You're seeing oil come off. I don't know what it's done since the numbers. Still, it popped, and so far it's holding that support. But oil's come off huge in the past 48 hours. About 30 minutes until New York heads to lunch. Samantha just read that comment. The Japanese yen, British pound, Japanese yen coming down and testing that low of today. Today I'm very, 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 very focused here. One particular thing, but yeah, the time that we spent here today is really it was MHB talking, I believe, about doing the homework and getting the analysis in place. It sets up my trading for the rest of the day, and it's done in such a way that's really conducive to my lifestyle. What the work I put in during this session with all of you has everything I need to know going forward, so that if I decide, to set orders overnight during London, I'm able to do that. And again, because I'm trading on the 8-hour time frame, it gives me the liberty, which covers all 3 sessions. It gives me the liberty of not having to be glued to the screen and to trading all the time, which is not good. It's a very, 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 very difficult way to make a living, and it's not at all why any of us got into trading. If you think about it, you got into trading for the freedom it affords. That means also for the freedom of your time. Yeah, I know it's very common to believe that the more you trade and on the shorter time frame, the possibility of making more money, but that's not true at all. Is the pound holding up? Because the pound is down 1/4% on the day. The Australian dollar down a little less versus the dollar. Where's the New Zealand dollar, US dollar? Down the least on the day, almost unchanged, down 0.9%. Came on off this support. It looks like a good area for the New Zealand dollar. Any rebound off of this? Is the dollar gonna be able to push through here at this time of day? Man, I didn't expect it would push as far as it has, or nor the euro would fall as far as it has, but it has. Expect the unexpected. Um, well, this is either gonna extend the move big time or reverse it big time. You're gonna see big moves on the pound and big moves on the Canadian dollar tomorrow. So we're gonna be I'm gonna get online definitely early again tomorrow, uh, before before our normal 9 o'clock a.m. I'll be probably the same time as today, probably about 8:20 a.m. Eastern time. Gold keeps going up, yen keeps going down. Yeah, look at gold is making it above that resistance over there. Silver has started to join the party. Silver went down from being down 1/4% over the last hour to up now, up on the day, about 0.2. Bullish precious metals. You mean Netflix? NEFT? What is NEFT? Oil stock? I don't know what that is. Indices down towards their low of the day. I have no idea. Um, uh, I have no idea. I can't give any type of insight into this for you. If I don't know, I'm not going to share. I'm only going to give an opinion if it's worth it. That's really good. Who said that? MHB, that's really important. I didn't even start looking forward to next week, but why it's so important? Why it's so important? This is Thursday. Why it's so important? Tomorrow's PMI is, uh, if these come in poor, then they're going to say the rate cut's back on the table. You're going to see the pound sell off big. Or if these come in strong, the odds of any type of rate cut will really diminish, and you're going to see the pound depreciate. Very important PMI numbers for the pound tomorrow. I mean, this is largely dependent, I believe, on the news cycle. Um, the DAX is tracking the U.S. indices. That's tracking the central bank liquidity. You have a down day. There's a lot of money. You have a lot of managers started off 2020 not fully positioned into equities, and it's ran away from them. They're going to be looking to buy dips. If you have any type of positive news flow regarding the virus, we gap up. If things continue to get worse, we continue to go down. The Australian economy is really dependent upon mining and definitely gold. There's a lot of big gold miners out there, as well as the Chinese economy. So if you're seeing the correlation between gold and the Australian dollar, uh, gold is a very big part of the Australian economy. Don't step in front of that QE, right? Everyone. Gold, Australian dollar overnight, really fantastic. Unemployment numbers came all the way up into that resistance. This was right around the time we got on together, right before we got on. So since New York has come in, you've seen Australian dollars sold off hard back into this area of support. Again, it's been a dollar story. Dollar's been super strong 3 days in a row. We've seen New York come in buying dollars. One, two, three. If you look at the hourly chart, it was here. Boom, boom, boom. Uh, you know, Australian dollar, US dollar is now at that support. Good, nice support over here. US dollar's at resistance. If we break through here on the dollar was going to pick up a lot of momentum. Australian dollar, the good chance it breaks below the support. Australian dollar, considering, is still been holding up pretty well. Considering what? Considering the situation in China, which is not net positive for China. Maybe it's the price of gold that's helping support it. Gold and commodities. Consider the time of day we're at too. You don't normally see so much follow through at this time of day after about the next 20 minutes. Maybe even later in the afternoon towards the close. But to see a breakout occur here over the next 2 hours would be very surprising. Again, always expect the unexpected when it comes to the markets. I did not expect the euro would break down today below this support ahead of the PMI numbers. But without having a chance to take a look at the news cycle and see what the narrative built up around it was, from what I saw, it was really when Christine started talking a lot about climate change and how their central bank policy is going to be revolve around climate change, that you started seeing the euro fall. So I'm going to have to read up on that later and see if that's the case. Pound Japanese yen so far holding that low. This is the first higher high on a 15-minute candle ever since this resistance was taken out over here and didn't hold. This was resistance taken out, spiked up, and then right now just the first higher high on 15-minute. Canadian dollar holding the support over here. This resistance, excuse me. With that strong US dollar today, Canadian dollar holding up relatively well. So is the New Zealand dollar, both about the same, both off 0.1. Exactly. That is the question. Nice. And New Zealand dollar too, also being supported about the same level. I can't find her. Nice observation, Maria. All right, everyone. I think this is the perfect spot now to call it a session, and one that I really enjoyed. I thank all of you for that. Hope everyone has a good day. Tomorrow is obviously a big night during the European session, during the London session. All right, and everyone, big heads up to the PMI numbers and then the retail sales out of Canada. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.